U.S. Daily Beat, July 25th, 2026. Hey, welcome back to U.S. Daily Beat. It's July 25th, and honestly, today's got a little bit of everything. A president cracking jokes at a dinner that almost didn't happen, new tariffs rattling global markets, a health scare spreading across 9 states, and LeBron James doing something that nobody saw coming. Grab your coffee, let's get into it. So let's start with the story everyone's talking about this morning. The White House Correspondents Dinner. Now, if you remember the original dinner back in April, it got canceled. A gunman opened fire at the event, injuring a Secret Service agent. That's not something you just reschedule and move on from. But last night, 3 months later, they did exactly that. At the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, with tighter security, about 700 people in the room, and President Trump front and center. And here's the thing. Trump's speech was something else. An hour long, he went after media figures, Democratic politicians, celebrities. He joked about running for a 4th term in 2028. He roasted his own cabinet, took a shot at RFK Jr., which, honestly, the room probably didn't see coming. But he also had a genuinely moving moment, recognizing Officer Victor Gonzalez, the Secret Service agent who was shot protecting attendees back in April. So what do you make of a president who can go from a gut punch tribute to a political roast in the same breath? That's the thing about this White House. It keeps you guessing. And the press corps, for their part, showed up. Because whatever you think of the politics, the relationship between the president and the press is one of the most important dynamics in a democracy. Last night was complicated, but it happened. Now, while all eyes were on that dinner, something else was quietly landing, and it's going to hit your wallet. The Trump administration just rolled out new tariffs on imports from 60 countries. We're talking the UK, Canada, Australia, all 27 EU member states. The rates? 10 to 12.5%. And this isn't the first time they've tried this. A blanket 10% tariff was actually struck down by the Supreme Court earlier this year. So they came back with a new legal hook, Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, citing inadequate enforcement of forced labor bans. Here's what's interesting. The effective U.S. tariff rate has jumped from 2.1% to nearly 12% since this administration took office. That's the highest it's been in decades, and economists aren't sugarcoating it. Goldman Sachs figures all of this has already added about a full percentage point to inflation. Oil's sitting around $90 a barrel. Gas is back above $4 a gallon in a lot of places. And the real question is, who's actually paying for all of this? Because tariffs sound like some abstract trade policy thing, but they show up as real dollars on your grocery receipt, your car payment, your utility bill. The person standing in the checkout line is the one absorbing the cost, every single time. On top of that, the administration announced it's now investigating EU trade practices. Specifically, the fines Europe has been levying against American tech companies like Google and Apple. So this trade fight is expanding, not shrinking. Keep an eye on that one. Speaking of tech, there's a lot happening in Silicon Valley right now, and some of it is genuinely wild. SpaceX conducted a Starship test flight this week, which is a big deal given the company just went public. The IPO was massive, and now they're back to doing what they do best, launching rockets and pushing the envelope. There was a booster failure on a separate Starlink mission, but that's almost routine for a company that moves this fast. Meanwhile, Nvidia just locked in a deal with SK Hynix, part of a $500 billion AI-focused agreement to secure memory supply. $500 billion. Let that sink in for a second. And Moody's is now warning that the aggressive AI spending by Amazon, Meta, and Alphabet could actually threaten their credit quality. These companies are pouring money into data centers and AI infrastructure at a pace that's making even the ratings agencies nervous. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are we in an AI investment bubble? Or is this the kind of spending that actually reshapes the economy for a generation? Because both of those things have happened before. And right now, nobody really knows which one this is. Let's talk about something that's a little closer to home. And a little more alarming. There's a Cyclospora outbreak spreading across the country right now, linked to iceberg lettuce. 9 states are affected. Cyclospora is a parasite, and it causes intestinal illness, and it can be pretty rough. The restaurant industry is already feeling it, with fast casual chains reporting a drop in foot traffic as people get cautious about salads and fresh produce. And that's not the only health story. U.S. health officials are also raising the alarm about measles. Cases this year have already surpassed the total count for all of 2025. That's a trend that public health experts have been warning about for a while now, as vaccination rates have dipped in some communities. So if you've got kids, or even if you don't, it's worth double-checking that your vaccinations are up to date. This stuff is preventable, and right now, prevention is the whole game. Okay, let's shift to something a little more fun, because the sports world absolutely lost its mind yesterday. LeBron James is going to Philadelphia, the 76ers. He signed a 2-year, $8 million deal, and he called it, and I'm quoting here, his last decision in professional basketball. Now, $8 million sounds like a lot, but for LeBron, that's basically a hometown discount. This is a guy who's made hundreds of millions over his career. So the money isn't the story. The story is, why Philadelphia? Why now? He's 41 years old. The 76ers have been rebuilding. And LeBron, who's played for Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland again, and the Lakers, is now heading to a city that is famously, legendarily tough on its athletes. And honestly, that's kind of what makes it fascinating. James Worthy, his old Lakers teammate, said Lakers fans are frustrated, but he gets it. LeBron's chasing something. Maybe a final championship run in a city that would absolutely go insane if he pulled it off. Or maybe he just wants one last challenge. Either way, the NBA just got a lot more interesting. And while we're on sports, the USATF Outdoor Championships were happening at Icon Stadium this week, and it was a masterclass. Noah Lyles ran the men's 100 meters in 9.79 seconds. That's the world's best time this year, third national title for Lyles, who just keeps getting faster. And Sha'Carri Richardson? She took the women's 100 in 10.77, a season best. These two are the faces of American track and field right now, and they are absolutely delivering. Before we wrap up, one more story. And this one's a little awkward. Tony Romo, the former Dallas Cowboys quarterback and current CBS sports analyst, was arrested in Wisconsin on suspicion of driving while intoxicated. No further details yet on what led to the stop, but it's not a great look for someone who's become one of the most recognizable voices in football broadcasting. We'll see how CBS handles it. And that's your beat for July 25th. A president at a dinner that almost didn't happen. Tariffs landing on 60 countries. A health scare spreading through 9 states. LeBron making one last move. And 2 American sprinters reminding the world exactly what they're capable of. It all connects. The politics, the economy, the culture. And it all lands right here in your daily life. If this helped you make sense of the day, do me a favor. Hit subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow. I'll be back with whatever the next 24 hours throws at us. Take care of yourselves.